Welcome, everybody. This is track 11, the 11th episode of the Rook and the Kid podcast. I'm Jared May, the Rook, and I'm joined by
Hunter Poole, the Kid.
What's going on? We're ripping our Ezekiel Elliott jerseys today in honor of a fallen soldier. Although we're going to get to details of Ezekiel Elliott later on in the podcast, it'll be in our specific Dallas Cowboys news category. We're going to cover the NFL free agency, which is nuts right now. Twitter is a war zone. It's basically like, I was going to say Ukraine, but I probably shouldn't say that. But I just said. But it is a war zone right now. So it's been very active on Twitter and very busy in terms of your phone's always lighting up and your group chats are always lighting up. So we want to cover all of that as fast as we can, or as efficient as we can, because there's a whole lot to cover.
There's
obviously,
a lot of stuff.
Yes, there's a crap ton of stuff to cover. Ezekiel Elliott, as y'all know, has been released by the Dallas Cowboys. We'll be covering that in depth as well as other Cowboys news, such as restructures, re-signings, trade rumors, that sort of gig. We have a new ADP TRAK Ranking segment where we're going to be ranking our top three, or drafting our top three Call of Duties, which should be really interesting. And a special announcement for our special episode on Sunday, which will be dedicated to HBO Max's The Last of Us. And we'll have two special guests. And the following week, we'll have a new guest, Nightmare Blunt, who will reportedly be on the podcast joining us. So excited for that. I do want to start off with an idea that me and the Kid have kind of contemplated very, very recently about merch. I put a poll in the story for TRAK Pod, and we were wondering if people would be interested in some hats. Or a jacket or a shirt, or maybe like a man purse or something. But I think a hat would be a really cool idea. Something, I don't know how it would look, but we definitely got to figure out some color designs. We need to figure out like a signature color. But
yeah, I was thinking like a kind of like a beige, or like
you can. I like the baby blue idea.
Yeah, something where like people can always rock, and then like the baby blue, it's like a summertime's about to come out, so summertime people really like that, getting tanner, so like the blues and colors like that, they're they make you look better. Those are the colors you want to wear when you're tan. And one thing I will say, we're not going to make a man purse. We are not Indiana Jones. None of that, no.
Yeah,
Sigmas only.
Maybe a coffee mug. Should we like coffee?
We do like coffee.
Yeah, yes. Mainly hats. I think hats would be the good way to start out.
Everybody wears a hat, and then kind of just experiment a little bit and go from there.
The tricky part is getting the women to buy a product from a mostly male audience podcast. So maybe we can find some girl hats that are pink or sort of some beige, some white, maybe look like Balenciaga. Head ass. But
we can make some kitchen supplies.
Because there's a clock on the stove. Oh yeah.
Chuckster. Why won't you buy a woman a watch?
Why won't I buy a woman a watch? Because there's a clock on the stove. Chuckster, relax. You can't go back. Come on, yeah. So if you guys know anybody, and I posted on the story, most people will probably see that before they see this. But if you guys know anybody that knows anything about developing merch or has a merchandise company, we personally prefer True Brand, but we got a long way to go for that. But we definitely want to make some merch in the near future, get our shit out there. But yeah, let's get right into it. Right into NFL free agency. Best way to start is probably with the most recent news. Aaron Rodgers supposedly and rumored and confirmed, all of the above, to go to the New York Jets. Initial thoughts. What are we thinking?
I would like to also say another thing is,
yes,
when I put A-Rod as my number 3 villain, people kind of question it, and I think in the last 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, you've seen he's a villain. He started with the Darkness Retreat, and then he's going on podcasts. He's like, I'm not going to say I'm going to retire if I'm going to, play again. And he's like, well, I intend on playing for the Jets. He said that like 5 seconds later, and he's Oh yeah, one thing about Green Bay is I'm all about direct communication. It's like, dude, you went on a darkness retreat talking about you were probably going to retire. He was 90% going to retire.
Completely eliminated communication when he did the dark.
How are you supposed to communicate with someone who's over there being a hippie in a bunker?
Direct communication with the devil in the dark, or
being a hippie in a bunker in Narnia. Like, no one knows where he's at. He's just in a dark room.
I'm betting to bet real money that his shins are badly beat up from bumping into different sorts of things in there. I hope everything in there was made out of like Legos, so he just kept like stepping and hitting the side of Legos. Kind of like how like one of those razor scooters used to hit your shins when you spun it.
Well, so what he said he did was he lit up a candle when he got there, and then he took a mental picture of where everything was at, and then like he had a spot for his foods and all that, and then he, blew the light out.
Sort of like reading a defense.
I mean, he's good at doing it.
Truly incredible.
He's good at it, but so at this point, the Packers have no leverage with the Aaron Rodgers. The dead money. Say like they're like, okay, well, we want all this from the Jets. Jets are like, yeah, well, he's just going to retire, so we don't want to give up that much. We'll give you this. And they're like, no, screw that. The dead money next year, if he retires, is $100 million.
Yeah.
$100 million. And you're looking at the whole situation like the leverage, which to begin with, I don't understand why they drafted Jordan Love, and then they could have got rid of A-Rod could have, left, last year to go to like the Jets or
it was the
49ers.
Same kind of crappy rumors, which is why people assumed that he would go back to the Packers this year too, because it's just like basically he's a Kardashian in the NFL.
Well, they didn't want him to. They didn't want him to leave, and they didn't want to get nothing. But now they signed him to this deal, and then a year later they don't make the playoffs. So now they're like, and he's like, "Well, I'm probably gonna retire." But then he's like, "Oh no, I'll play for the Jets." So then now they can get a little bit of compensation for him, but is it really worth it? Like, why would you draft a quarterback 25th overall, and then 2 years later sign your quarterback to a 4-year, deal like that? It all just logically did not make sense. And at the moment, Packers, you better hope you hit the turkey with Jordan Love, because things are not. It's not looking good. You got the 50 feet of crap, and then you got the Packers, and that's kind of at the point they're at right now. There's
us, then there's them, then there's 50 feet of crap, and then there's us.
Yeah, it's they're just in a tight spot, and at the moment they just, you get a couple of third rounders for him. You just get him off your team. I would take it, but
A-Rod. Great. Yeah, we'll take it.
They have no leverage,
We'll take the hippie for 3 to 4 round picks, somewhere around there, and just call it a day.
Well, if they're like, well, we want first round picks, it's like, okay, we'll take on his contract. So if I'm the Jets, I'm like, I'm not offering, too much, and then we'll see from there. Because maybe he might retire, but that doesn't screw the Jets.
Yeah, screws the
Packers. There's no win-win
Jets are
situation.
playing chess, not checkers.
There's no win-win situation for Packers. And if I was them, I would, whatever the Jets want, give you a couple picks, just take them.
Yeah, and the weird thing is they're basically giving Aaron Rodgers like a wish list for it. It's like, who do you want? Okay, do you want like strawberry ice cream or do you want chocolate? And it's like, well, I pick cookies and cream. I'll take.
He wants
Alan Lazard for $22 million guaranteed.
He doesn't want ice cream. He wants LSD.
Yeah. Darkest retreat. But it's like I want everybody that was on the Packers roster before, so that I can choke in the playoffs again with the New York team. That way, the New York media is just even more brutal to me, almost like Donald Trump in his presidency. So, we'll see. I don't know. Well, Elijah Moore, who knows if he's going to leave. Supposedly Aaron Rodgers wanted to follow Nathaniel Hackett, which, after the previous season with Russ, Trust, Gus, Bus, Wilson, you're like, okay, like, really? You want to follow him? Sure. But did you see the A-Rod beef with Schefter, though? Where it was like...
Yeah, I was watching the Pat McAfee show live, and he was like, he's like, yeah, I got reporters, and Schefter, texted me trying to get the scoop, and what I told him was, I said, lose my number. I said, lose my number. And then, it's like you believe him because that's some shit A-Rod would say, like, lose my number.
Oh, yeah, lose my number.
And then Adam Schefter confirmed it. He's like, Aaron Rodgers report true, confirmed. And it's like,
I'm hanging up. I'm done.
Yeah. So, I mean, Schefter was just doing his job, and, Trey Wingo got a lot of criticism for dropping the news on Friday that, there's a deal done or he's going to be a Jet. But there was never actually a deal. But then A-Rod's like, yeah, I've been intending to play with them since Friday.
Yeah, well, every GOAT quarterback has gotten their little false announcement of a retirement or a signing. And Brady got his with Schefter. Rodgers got his with Trey Wingo. Colin Kaepernick got his with the Associated Press. Like, you can go down the line with the greatest quarterbacks of all time of how many times they've been falsely accused, I guess is the word I'm going to use, for retiring or stated that they're going to retire. So it's interesting that those three quarterbacks, with them being the GOAT, that that happened to all three of them. Big news: the Bears traded the number 1 overall pick with the Carolina Panthers. So they're going to swap picks. The number 1 pick for the 9th overall pick with the Panthers. DJ Moore is going to the Bears. I believe there is another first-round pick. Yeah, it's let's see, the number 9th overall pick, and then they get a second-round number 61 overall pick, a 2024 first-round choice, and a 2025 second-round pick. And they have 5 of the 9 picks in this year's draft from the Bears, according to ChicagoBears.com. Would have 5 of the 9 picks are from other teams. So it'll be for the Panthers, from the Ravens, from the Eagles, and then there's a supplemental selection. Probably because, Chicago is a horrible place. And they was like, please just take this and draft somebody. Big news. You think this helps Justin Fields a bunch? I mean, now that they got the god Chase Claypool over there, and they got DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, maybe see some pieces around him in the draft, but would you lean more towards this really does help, and that maybe Justin Fields doesn't really have as much as an excuse anymore to perform well and then lose by 30?
I think the Bears are setting it up pretty nicely. I kind of called it as like the AJ Brown deal for Jalen Hurts. I wouldn't see like a MVP like season for Justin Fields this year, but I could see something like a offensive player of the year kind of deal. Like, you might have some crazy stats, maybe like the best record. Like, they have a chance to win the NFC North. I think I'm still going to give it to like the Lions. They, yeah, for Jared Goff.
Yeah, for Jared Bear.
I think they're heading in the right. Like DJ Moore, he's under contract for a little bit. I see DJ Moore being more of a short-term investment.
Yeah, I agree. Similar like Amari Cooper, maybe.
Yeah, I was talking about it in
the cap situation, but
I was talking about it in the Twitter chat, and they're like, "What do you short term? Like, he's only 25." And I was like,
wasn't Cooper like 24 when we got him?
Yeah, and another thing is, it's like, yeah, he's under contract, but they can still get JSN from Ohio State. They do need some line help, but you get DJ Moore, JSN, and then you have Khalil Herbert, Justin Fields. The line is still a little iffy. They could sign someone like Orlando Brown.
They could sign somebody like Orlando Brown, but in that 9th spot, they had the luxury of drafting an offensive lineman. The value could be there per the mock drafts that I've done. So they could go that route too if they wanted to.
They could even, they could trade back even again. I'm not saying like a bunch of spots, but they have the 9th pick. They can trade back. Let's just say 2 or 3 spots, and then you get the 12th pick or 11th pick, and you get like an extra second or third rounder. You can do so many things with that, and that's kind of like how I liked when the Cowboys did that when they got Parsons. They traded 2 spots back, and they got an extra pick, and they still got Parsons. Because their guy Surtain was gone.
I wouldn't be shocked if, and I think the value would be there at the 61st overall pick. And I can't quote which pick they have of their own in the second unless they traded it away. But they lost Roquan Smith last year. I could see them going after a guy like Drew Sanders from Arkansas. He's been one of those second, third round kind of guys. So I was thinking, it might be a good idea for them to patch up their linebacking core.
Well, they did just sign Tremont Edmonds.
Did they do Edmonds and the other Edmonds guy, TJ and Trey?
They got the Edmonds.
Somebody got
Edmonds
both.
from the Buffalo, and then they got the other linebacker. He was from Philly.
Yeah, I think both Edmonds. I think it was like TJ and the other guy.
Yeah, so the Tremaine Edmonds got the big deal, and then the other guy got, I think it was like a 3-year, like $21 million. It wasn't too bad, but yeah, like if anything, offensive line.
Yeah.
Edge rusher.
Yeah.
Edge rusher, or if you trust the line enough, I would say go get like JSN or go get one more wide receiver. And if they do get a wide receiver in the first round, it kind of tells you what they really think of like Darnell Mooney. We already know what Claypool is. Claypool
basically is a waste of space.
Claypool's Claypool, and then they've always been really high on Darnell Mooney, but they just got DJ Moore, and if they go get another wide receiver, it just shows you like they don't think Darnell Mooney is really like.
I just hit the jackpot. The return of Allen Robinson. I just thought of it. That's wow, man. I should be a GM.
I'd be very surprised if they took someone like Bijan.
Oh yeah. I mean, Khalil Herbert. I mean, my opinions on like running backs, but Khalil Herbert could do it. He was the much more explosive back when he got the ball. I wouldn't feel pressured to get Bijan.
Yeah, well, I mean, Bijan would fit really nice in an offense, but
I wouldn't mind it, especially if you say like what you said they should do is like trade back. I would not mind it one bit. I'd be like, oh, that's good fit. Cool. Thank you. The Cowboys don't draft him now.
Yeah, because you could definitely find their value, trading back. So I think if they trade back again, kudos to them. I think that would be a smart idea.
Yeah. So next up would be the Rams also traded traded away Jalen Ramsey to the Miami Dolphins for a 2023 third-round pick. Now this one hurt my soul for initially because I was like, dang, the Cowboys could actually get Jalen Ramsey, and then I saw that they traded him for a third-round pick, and I was like, come on, that's practically nothing. But then, we'll get into it later. They made another trade for a fifth-round pick and Stephon Gilmore, which I totally agreed with. I was like, great, use one of our complimentary picks for a good reason. But this makes the Dolphins secondary extremely elite. I think they're just missing more of an elite pass rush. I mean, they do have Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips and Christian Watkins, I think is his name.
Watkins. And also they have a very, very, very fast. You think their wide receivers are fast? Their linebacking core is very fast. They just signed Long from Tennessee, and they forgot the other guy's name, but they are a fast group. It's going to be a fast offense, fast defense. So we kind of get the idea of what Mike McDaniels is really looking for in his team.
Yeah. I mean, they don't need any weapons on offense. I mean, they repatched their 49ers RB2s and 3s leftovers and Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson. They got back Myles Gaskin, which, luxury running back 3 there. I could see them going tight end I think Gesicki is gone. I could see them going, whatever their pick is. They could go get a guy like Dalton Kincaid. please take them off. I just want everybody to take those guys off of the Cowboys' hands before we do something stupid and irrational.
Moving forward, I don't know if they really think Tua is the guy. I know he's gonna play out this year, but he's cheap-ish. He's cheap. Like he's not for his price right now. He's not a bad quarterback.
For Mike McDaniel's offense, and this is kind of against my nature, and it has been rumored. I think that Nathan Peterman not playing. Lamar Jackson could be a fantastic fit in Miami.
Now, I said Daniel Jones. I was like Daniel Jones. He'd be really nice in Miami. He really would.
He wouldn't be terrible. I mean, really anybody couldn't be terrible with those sorts of weapons, which some people seems to not understand. But when you have weapons like that, you really can't screw up. So,
and I saw this report about Tua. He's, it wasn't really a joke. I did say I was like, I don't know what it is, but Tua's head when he gets tackled is like a magnet to the ground. He always whips his head hard. So this offseason, he's been taking jiu-jitsu classes to learn how to fall. And it makes sense because when you see him fall, his head is like a magnet. It just whacks down to the floor. And it sucks. And every time you do that, you're like, nobody even wants to see that. And especially a guy his size, you're like,
okay, so how do I do it? Do I like brace myself when I fall, or do I just like slam my head against the turf as hard as I can?
I knew when he against the Bengals, when he hit his head, I was like, oh yeah, he definitely. I thought he just had a concussion, but I wasn't expecting what actually was going to happen. But the way he hit his head, I was like, yeah, that was not good. It just whack and then.
Yeah, he needs to get a guy like Khabib to just go in there and just on his head for like 30 minutes, maybe just 1 pounce every 1 minute, but then grapple in between and then just get another pounce from him. And then, we'll see if that helps out with his concussion problems. But, that just seems like a 50-50 false true report. He probably.
Oh, no, it's 100% true.
It just sounds like crap. Like, yeah, he's taking jiu-jitsu classes to help his how to learn how to fall. It's like,
no, in a way, it does teach you how to brace yourself.
You could just jump off a diving board and learn how to do that.
Well, he should know by his age to learn how to fall anyway. But jiu-jitsu does you can.
Don't believe me. I'm just a Joe Schmo, bro. I've never been hit by a Jermaine Pratt or a Vontaze Burfict. So
what do we know?
What the hell do we know as far as physicality in the NFL? So that's Jalen Ramsey, which that was a shocking trade. But Jimmy G is off to Las Vegas. He's going to join and reignite with Josh McDaniels. Saw a stupid stat on there that compared Derek Carr and Jimmy G, and Jimmy G had better cherry pick numbers than Derek Carr. So automatically he's a better quarterback talent wise and efficiency wise and winning wise than Derek Carr. So did the Raiders actually upgrade at quarterback? We don't know. But Tay and Josh Jacobs will be there. Jacoby Myers was just signed for like an $11 million deal. And Darren Waller was just traded away to the New York Giants for a third-round pick for Goat Man, $40 million man, Rich Man, Rain Man, Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, Vanilla Vic.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
Can you just repeat one more time about the Jimmy G and Derek Carr comparison real quick? Can you repeat that exactly?
Yeah, so basically the premise behind it was that the cherry pick stats in which they promoted, this was a real person that did this, basically said that his winning record was better, his completion percentage was better, his efficiency was better, his QBR was better, blah, 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 all than Derek Carr. And this is the main reason why we don't go on stats. But Derek Carr's worse. He's not as good as a quarterback as Jimmy G. And you heard it here first on dumbasspodcast.com. So
I wanted to rehear that because I've heard a lot of things.
Do you want to do it a third time?
No, well, I had to make sure I heard right how you felt about it, just to make sure because I've heard those stats about a guy you really like, His name is Dak Prescott.
Bruh. Okay.
I mean, I just had to listen. When you said it, I had to rehear it.
We just talked about it just a second ago about how Tua can't screw up with the weapons he has. Have you ever seen the 49ers roster? Every quarterback they've ever brought in except them.
I know.
Okay, well, that's what you.
I know. That's what I. You gotta remember these numbers you wanted to bring up. Okay, we're gonna.
Well, I get it. I get what you're saying.
Mark Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Schultz, all those guys. Like, that's not a bad group. I'm just saying. I just had to. It's caught me off guard.
You got to think both sides. You got to coach GM. You got coach, GM, defense, offense. 49ers had it all. We have never had it all.
I know. I'm just saying the efficiency thing. I had to hear it. I just heard you say it. I heard you say you thought it was. You said it was cherry picked and dumb.
I hate cherry pick. I don't like to cherry pick. I don't do that.
Not all the time. I'm just saying. You don't do it all the time, but we're just with the Dak situation.
It's very tough not to. I mean,
the Dak situation. You're like, well, look at his third down efficiency.
Oh, that's advanced statistics.
That's not the same thing.
No, they're talking like general stats. They're talking like this is their win and loss record. Like it was very general. That's like cherry picked where you just like you look at it and you're just like, Dak is or Jimmy G is this, and this when his team is leading in the fourth quarter. That's a cherry picked stat. And then they compare it to like, let's say Derek Carr's, which is a perfect example because his team has never been good. It's been a shit fire organization. Like that's cherry picked. Colin Cowherd's is cherry picked. Now, if you want to talk about like third down efficiency and stuff like that, that's a cool stat in my opinion because it matters. Your coordinator can get your quarterback may have to bail your coordinator out sometimes. But I totally get your point, and I understand your worries. So, hold me accountable to that. I'll hold you accountable for the same. We're trying to get really good at sticking to our narratives constantly. So
that's the only way this thing's going to work out. That's the only way it's going to work out. But
that one's definitely hitting social media for sure. That was fun.
Okay, well, yeah, with Jimmy G, I've been it's my turn.
It is my turn.
With Jimmy G, I would paying him $22.5 million per year is insane for a guy. First of all, coming off injury, he's very handsome, but he's coming off all these injuries. He's not going to have the same system. He's already been kind of known to be a system quarterback. I would be very impressed if they can get more than 10 games out of Jimmy G, which is a lot for a starting quarterback. Or it's not a lot for a starting quarterback making $22.5 million per year. I would have gave him $10 million a year for 2 years.
I would have gave him a thank you bag from the Dollar Tree. But I don't know. I know that Aaron Rodgers is going to the Jets, but Vegas to me just screams Aaron Rodgers. It doesn't scream Jimmy G. I mean, maybe Jimmy G screams Vegas. That's one thing. You'd probably see him if they made a Hangover Part 4. He'd probably be featured in it, where he's like helping because he just seems like one of those guys. He dated a porn star. Like that's
porn star Jimmy.
Which this is totally off topic, but did you hear about this? There's an entire underground city basically of homeless people underneath Vegas, the city of Vegas, where basically everyone, and I got this from TikTok, I'm not sure where, so credit to whoever that is. It's complete darkness. There might be candles and stuff and flashlights, but they've got their own, it's rumored they have their own language. They have their own rules and laws. They don't abide by like the U.S. Constitution. They made their own. And some people in there have not seen the light of day.
Sounds like a bunch of Republicans.
It sounds like a bunch of apocalyptic state sons of guns who want to protect our Second Amendment rights. They're taking our jobs.
I used to be a big conspiracy guy, and I still am, but not as big as I used to.
Question everything. This is the time to do it. Anti-authoritarian.
My mom used to give me a hard-ass time about conspiracy theories. I used to go all day about conspiracy theories. It all started like in 8th grade with like the Illuminati, and now it's just.
Oh, they're real. They're real. We can get into that topic another time, definitely. But I just remind me of that. But dude, I'm telling you, like, question everything. Just throw that out there. Okay, so the Broncos are expected to trade either Jerry Jeudy or Cortland Sutton. I would suspect that Jeudy would be traded and not Sutton. I just don't think maybe Sutton, but their asking price is high. They said they want a first-round pick for Jeudy. Do you think he's worth a first-round pick? Do you think he's very young. He's only 23, so they may be contemplating for that. But
I would not give up a first-round pick this year, but if I was good enough, I would trade a 2024 first-round pick.
Yeah.
But this year, like, I can't think of a team that would actually do that except maybe the Ravens.
Yeah, especially if Lamar returns.
But yeah, for the most part though, if even like a team like if Dallas is like, we'll give you a 2024 first round pick for Jerry Jeudy, I'd be like, I'll take that. Like come on, like that's like it goes back to like the Amari Cooper. Like, yeah, we gave him a first round pick. First round pick ended up being a 25th overall, and they drafted Josh Jacobs, which wasn't bad for him. He's not a bad running back, but he didn't do enough in a way like he's valuable, but not too valuable. But
I'm glad they recognize that.
Yeah, so definitely the 21st round pick. They didn't say what year. If they're talking about this year, I can only see a team like the Ravens trying to get him, but
yeah, and I think he would really thrive if he were in Dallas. I just don't think Jerry Jones has the kahunas to do it. Getting a guy like Sutton, especially if you put him on the Cowboys, is basically the second version of Michael Gallup, and I quote that from the medical guy Jacob. I don't know, I like Jeudy. I think he's a great talent. I think he's got a bad rap in Broncos country, but who knows? I agree with you though. I think I would trade a first next year for him, but not this year. And in my opinion, I think that they're trying to get their asking price is high because they got completely fleeced by the Seahawks, and they're trying to get their picks back because they're probably looking at that going, oh crap.
And they're trying to make up for their Jerry Jeudy pick because who went after him? CeeDee Lamb and also Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
You could say Brandon Ayuk.
Oh, Jalen Reagor, I think.
Jalen Reagor did. I just don't want to include him because
I just think it's funny because the Eagles drafted him, and then the Vikings were like laughing in the press conference room. They were like,
well, what's crazy is
I'll do it again.
The Vikings traded Stephon Diggs, and then with that pick, they got Justin Jefferson. It's probably the fairest trade ever in NFL history. There'll never be a trade that even of a player for player like Diggs for Justin Jefferson.
Oh yeah,
you'll never see anything like that again. It was crazy how that worked out.
And the end of the era for the rarity, the white boy, and Adam Thielen. So shout out to white boy Adam Thielen.
He went to go work out for the Panthers today. We'll see how that goes.
Speaking of the Panthers, Sam Darnold left to go sign with the 49ers in a 1-year deal. Andy Dalton signed to Carolina for, it was like 2 years, $17 million, I think 8 to 11 was guaranteed for 2 years. Miles Sanders today just signed with the Panthers. I'm not sure what the details are on that, what he is there. And Hayden Hurst signed with Carolina on a 3-year deal. So I think we know what they're doing. I think you had a theory about where they're going to go with the Panthers, which direction after the signing of Andy Dalton. You had a name.
Yeah. So at first when they made the trade, I was thinking, okay, they're going to get Stroud because that's why they traded all the way up. And, even the betting odds, they were like, Stroud, he's going to be number one now. And then there's a couple of reports that were like, oh, we like all these guys. And then they're like, Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. It was like where they said all of them.
Like, okay. But once they signed Andy Dalton, who was a vet, been in the league for a very long time. You know,
Great bridge guy. Yeah.
He's a good guy. He's professional, white.
The official Red Rocket of the NFL.
He's a Red Rocket. Once I saw that veteran deal, and it's for 2 years, Anthony Richardson, you are a Carolina Panther. He's going number 1.
Roger Goodell comes out.
And he will not play his first year unless Andy Dalton gets hurt.
Which is highly likely, could be,
but if he does play, we'll see, because people don't want to. This guy has so much upside where you can, this guy will either make a team or break a team. His ceiling is up here, and his, the low ceiling is 50 feet of crap type deal. So
yeah,
I was.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree. I when you said that, I was like, that's probably the best high risk situation you can get. High risk, high reward, leaning more towards high reward with Anthony Richardson going to the Panthers after you get a good bridge guy like Andy Dalton. I mean, Andy Dalton bridged the way for Ben DiNucci to go to the Sea Dragons in the XFL. Of course, that's a joke, but yeah, I would love it. I'd love for Anthony Richardson to go first. There's been so much hype around him. Now, I think with the history of Ohio State quarterbacks not really performing well in the NFL, I think Stroud is not going to be picked first. I think they'll let him slip. I really think Bryce Young belongs in Houston. I just think with a defense that DeMeco Ryans can create, I think he can thrive in a situation like that because his defense can keep him on the field. He's got a good left tackle in Laramie Tunsil. I believe he's still there. There might be trade talks that he's gone. They got a good run game with Dameon Pierce. They're going to maybe patch up their receivers, but, the important thing is for a guy like that, he'll gain size. Kyler Murray is the same size. There should be questions. But he's great, talented quarterback, but I don't see the Texans going another route than Bryce Young, but I could be completely wrong.
Well, a big thing about Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. So, they're basically like the two quarterbacks who people were all debating who should go number 1. And then here comes this freak athlete, high upside, Anthony Richardson, AR-15. Now, people that were like, no, the Bears aren't going to draft him, number 1. And then Carolina scoops in. They're like, okay, we like all these guys. And then they get Andy Dalton, maybe get Anthony Richardson. And a question I always ask people when I was like, who's better, CJ Stroud or Bryce Young? And they're like, CJ Stroud. It's like, why? Well, he's, bigger. He's got the size, he can do this, blah, blah, blah. And I said, it's hypothetical. Hypothetically speaking, if CJ Stroud and Bryce Young were the same size, who would you want?
That's a very good question.
And then they would be like, well, probably Bryce Young. So the only thing that people have against Bryce Young is his size. Bryce Young is the better quarterback.
And hold on, I'll tell you how I'll answer that question too, because that's a fantastic question. Realistically, how many people actually do the research and study a college football quarterback's play like they do in the NFL? I mean, I don't think it exists. I think when draft talk comes around and they just believe what everyone else tells them to believe, which those guys are the guys watching them. Now, CJ Stroud lit up the league in stats, and we don't go by stats usually. But so how do you judge him? Well, who did he play with? Who was his coach? Who was his competition? That's the starting point. Then you can get into film study. Bryce Young, he's in the SEC. That's basically the NFL of college football. You're playing somebody every week, to quote Gramps, my grandfather. But that's why people probably lean more towards Bryce Young than they do CJ Stroud. And I tend to lean more Bryce Young in general, just because, which I get it, Alabama quarterbacks have kind of changed the narrative. They used to be ones of guys you don't want to pick, because like AJ McCarron, Greg McElroy, like those guys, You don't want any part of them because there's the Alabama guys just weren't a good pick. Nowadays, after the Mac Jones pick, it's kind of, and Jalen Hurts, which he finished at Oklahoma, but same thing. Tua, it's the trend has flipped, but Ohio State's really hasn't. You haven't really seen Ohio State quarterback have any success, which RIP to Haskins. But that's why I tend to like Bryce Young more, and that's not eye test. That's who he's playing each week, who's his coach, who did he have around him, that sort of thing.
Well, they used to always talk about, which is fair points. They say, well, Tua and Mac Jones, they had all these wide receiver ones on their team. And if you go look at both teams, the Ohio State's wide receiver core is way better than Alabama's core. So you can't use he has so many weapons, D1, they're going top 10 wide receivers, future number ones, all that.
Yeah.
The only thing that people have on Bryce Young is his size. That is the only thing that's saying that's why CJ Stroud is better. Which size is very important. I really get it. But it all boils down to the question: if they were the same size, they still have the same abilities, all that. They're just the same size now. Who do you want? And if you're questioning, if you change from CJ Stroud to Bryce Young, then truthfully you think Bryce Young is the better quarterback.
Which would translate to high risk, high reward once again.
Yeah. So that's the only thing that's scaring people is his size, because he's a small guy. He's 5'10", 200 pounds.
Yeah.
He's built like a slot wide receiver. So, but he has the ability to be a very good quarterback in this league. He just has to stay healthy. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I would recommend taking jiu-jitsu. So Austin Eckler, we'll move through these a little bit more quicker than the others, but Austin Eckler is asking to be traded, which was a shock to me. Maybe he was like, I don't like running the ball, and Kellen Moore likes to run on first and second down, which is what I say that Spiller is there for. Duh. But do you see a possible landing spot for Eckler that you think would work best?
Yeah,
it's a tough one. I mean,
it kind of goes down to everyone always says this team, but he'd probably be pretty good on the Buffalo Bills. Like, but the only problem is
James Cook.
I like James Cook. I think Eckler brings a lot more to the table, and people like to say, well, he's not a real running back, but the thing is, they don't run the ball. So what do you mean? What do you mean he can't? It's not like he can't run the ball. They just, when they check him down, that's their way of running the ball. When they throw a 2-yard check down,
which is how it works so well in San Diego or
because
Los Angeles.
they like to throw the ball. You can run a 2-yard check down, gets out of bounds, stops the clock. But it's like running the ball.
It's perfect for Kellen Moore's offensive mind. I mean, it really is. Light up the scoreboard. It was perfect, but I don't know, it's weird how he's requesting a trade after that.
I had Austin Eckler for like 3 years in fantasy, and I'm pretty sure he averages like no more than 15 carries a game.
Yeah,
he doesn't get carries.
And if he does, it's like 36 yards. You're like, yeah.
And they're just running him up the gut. And it's like they don't run the ball. Like, I had like multiple games where I had under 10 carries, like 4 or 5. They just don't run the ball. That's just not how they were wired. So Eckler would be a good, like, he's a good running back. He's like 10, 15. But like the Buffalo Bills, or you can even go with like.
I've leaned, I don't know. I mean, a lot of the best teams are kind of running teams. The Eagles, 49ers. I don't know what the Vikings are going to do with Dalvin Cook, but I don't see him. They like to pass the ball, but I don't see Kirk Cousins dishing it off to Austin Eckler effectively. Shoot. I don't know. The Bills are just that one where you're just like, yeah. I mean, I don't know what the Chiefs are going to do with Jerick McKinnon either. They're getting rid of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He could complement Pacheco. Pacheco's cheap. That's another one where they're going to throw the ball a bunch. But, of course, those are two higher-powered teams. The Bengals they might get rid of Joe Mixon. I know Samaje Perine went to a different team. Denver. He went to Denver. So maybe the Bengals. I don't know. Travion Williams time.
Yeah, it's like the Go Aggies, but yeah, they. I don't know, man. Just like the Bills just make the most sense, but I
would agree.
It just.
I mean, you get a running. It's kind of the same as the Chiefs deal, like I mentioned. They're cheap. Pacheco's cheap. James Cook is cheap. And then you can kind of, and who knows? The Bills might go buy Stephon Diggs. Which
shit, send him to Dallas, bro.
Send that man to Dallas. Now, yeah, we'll get into that later. But and then real quickly, the Saints signed Jamal Williams to a 3-year deal in New Orleans. I think that's a great fit for him. He should complement Alvin Kamara. And to Grant's credit, our commissioner in the Corpus Christi League, goodbye red zone carries for Alvin Kamara. Plus, he might be suspended. So
he wasn't even getting them this year, so he's really not getting them anymore.
Oh yeah. Darius Slay was released by the Eagles. There was some false, stupid report that said the Eagles got a call. They're called the Cowboys, and the Cowboys declined. Which I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm assuming it was.
Todd Archer reported it. That's the Cowboys.
Weird, which he's like verified. Yeah, he's like verified. He's like, I think there's ESPN Ed Warder or Todd Archer like our top two, analysts. Even though I don't usually get my news from either one of them. But there were reports everywhere saying this is actually not true. I think it's because Eagles were butthurt, and I think the Cowboys were like, no way. But I would have, if that's true, that's hilarious. I'd be like, okay, really? But probably because they had Stephon Gilmore in mind.
Yeah, was, I don't know. I could see it being true. They definitely wanted to get rid of him, which obviously no one wanted to trade for him, so they dropped him 5 seconds later. So
right, and he's rumored to join. I mean, they're doing the eye emojis like crazy on there. It's like a restock on paper towels during the pandemic. But San Francisco, Denver are two names that I saw mentioned. There was a third team in there, so we'll see. Our phones might buzz this evening. But Baker Mayfield to the Bucks. Yeah, Kyle Trask has got some competition now, or Baker's got some competition now for the starting job.
He has a big chip on his shoulder, man. Like he's just
feeling dangerous.
Yeah, I'm feeling dangerous, man. Everybody sucks, and I'm good.
He's gonna be in that pirate ship. Fire!
Oh man, bro.
There are rumors. I just saw this as soon as Zeke was released. They were like, reportedly, the Buccaneers have interest in Ezekiel Elliott. I was like, you can have both. You can have that fat ass, and you can have the other fat ass, Leonard Fournette. Not body shaming, but yeah, we'll get into Zeke later. Obviously, the Browns cut Jadeveon Clowney and safety John Johnson. The 49ers patched up their defense with cornerbacks and interior defensive linemen. I think they got Javon Hargrave, some weird names that I can't name, Isaiah Oliver, and then the cornerback from the Falcons, and someone else.
Klein Farrell.
Klein Farrell.
Yeah, yes. Guy.
Yeah, they signed another defensive end that has a weird name, but they've been kind of patching up their interior edge and secondary because they lost Jimmy Ward. So, we're speaking of, they're following D'Amico Ryans. The Texans secondary is looking actually pretty sharp now with Jimmy Ward, Jalen Petrie, Derek Stingley, and 2 other guys. So maybe, like I mentioned earlier, for a young quarterback, could be beneficial. And then lastly, but not least, and then there are more that have happened, Juju Smith-Schuster to the Patriots for a 3-year, $33 million deal. I think this could work for Mac Jones. I mean, he had Jacoby Myers, basically got the same deal, I believe. Everyone's kind of averaging like 11 million right now.
That's kind of like the set market for wide receivers right now in this free agency. For quite a bit, there was no running back signings or wide receivers, and then Jacoby Myers kind of broke the mold, and then a couple running backs, and now it's like 11 million, 10 million a year.
Yeah, they're basically all the same.
Like Michael Gallup deals
Yeah.
You know, but shorter term.
Did Michael Gallup change the market?
For wide receiver 2 3s, he might have. You know, it kind of looks like it.
Is Juju a 1?
No, he's like he's like the gray area of mid tier and high tier of wide receiver 2. He's like right in the gray area. He's like, you never know what you're gonna get with him.
All right, let's see. Let's get into our TRAK ranking segment. That covers basically, I would say, 88.89% of the NFL free agency frenzy that has been going on this whole week. But let's jump right into our TRAK ranking segment. We're gonna do our top 3 Call of Duties, and we're gonna draft them though, so it could be difficult. They're not actually our personal ones, but here we go. You can see that right this time. It's better.
No, but I know what we're doing, so we're okay. I can't see shit.
Are you serious? What are you looking at it on? I can see it perfectly.
Hold up.
You can put it in full screen. Let's do this.
No. Yeah, no, definitely cannot.
All right. Well, you know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, here, I'll send you a screenshot once again, like you did last time. Now you can follow on. I really got to figure out a way to get this right, because on my screen I can see it fine, which on your screen it must look like an ant or something. All right, here you go. One moment.
Let me see if I can
send it your way.
Let me see if I can take a picture back to show you what I'm looking at. Just read the last message.
Oh yeah, because I mean, slipping over there in the shower. All right, yeah. So we're gonna be drafting our top 3 Call of Duties. Let's see. Good Lord.
If you can read that, I'd be very impressed.
Are you like on an Android? That just looks like gibberish.
I'm on my fucking MacBook, bro.
That looks nuts. That looks dank. So we've got our pool on the right, which if you can't see it, we've got Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 2019, Modern Warfare 2022, Blocks 1, Blocks 2, Blocks 3, Blocks 4, Cold War, World War 2, World at War, Vanguard, Infinite Warfare, Advanced Warfare, Ghost, Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3, 4. All right, so we've got all of those on there. All right, how do we want to determine the first pick?
You got it.
Cool, thanks. All right. For my first pick, and I'm so glad I got this. I'm going Black Ops 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was probably gonna be my first one, but you know.
Oh yeah, that's what I wanted. I was like, I gotta have it.
Well, that is a very fantastic pick. You know, you got the Nuketown, best map ever. You got Nazi zombies. You got the all those. You got
WMD,
firing range,
search and destroy, the AK-74U, the face paint,
the Tomahawk.
The Tomahawk, yeah, the L115. Yeah,
that's a good pick. For my first pick, I'm gonna go with Modern Warfare 2, and also another great map on there. They got Rust, and then they got Terminal. When they brought back Terminal on MW3, I was like, and they kind of did the graphics better. Man, did I love it! It was Terminal 24/7 for me. And I was going in, demolition, search and destroy, all the good stuff. And they have like the FAMAS, the MP7, MP5, Intervention. Oh man, that's where I fell in love with video games.
I love the special ops. You had Hidden, which is like the sniper mission. You had the snowmobile one.
Oh yeah, I remember
that. Set the record. That even if you go back and play it now, that stuff's tough. But yeah, that's a great game. Oh god, I'm so tempted to go Black Ops 2.
Oh, I knew you were thinking about Black Ops 2.
Gosh Dude, Zombies just so good.
What are you gonna go like Infinite Warfare?
Yeah. Bro, hot take, Ghost was actually a good Call of Duty.
Yeah, it was all right.
All right, I'm going to switch it up. I'm going Modern Warfare 2019.
Okay.
And that is because I grinded the hell out of it in the COVID years. And I must say, and I should start streaming one day, I guess, I was pretty solid. I was a sweat. I'll admit it.
I wish. So what I thought of Warzone like 10 years earlier, man, because like if like Black Ops had Warzone, I'd probably be still playing that game because that game is Warzone is my favorite kind of ordeal game mode ever for I guess besides zombies because zombies is just legendary like that.
Yeah.
But Warzone's like a close to.
Well, I have a differing opinion on that. I like Modern Warfare 2019 pre-Warzone because the game wasn't buggy. Cyber attack, search and destroy was golden. Grinding camos and like their nerfs and buffs were pretty good. Grozna raid, I don't think I ever lost on that map. So shout out to Turner, Chad, Eric, Austin, Ryan, Lone Gun, other one known as the analyst. That crew was unstoppable.
Travis I definitely I used to grind out that game as well. The only problem is when I got the game, I was living at U Club, and the connection was boo boo. Had some Taco Bell connection, and so I'd like lag out of games, and then I just started grinding 2K after that because I was just there's too many sweats on that game for me to be lagging so much, and I was like, yeah, I'm just.
Oh, I agree.
I'm fed up. I was like, I'm fed up with this game.
I can't even download the game on my Xbox anymore.
And
it's terrible.
What sucks is you're going against people with like monitors now. So they play on a monitor they play on a monitor with a controller. They have the advantage all the time. And it's hard to go against guys like that because they're moving a lot faster. Than they probably have like a scuff controller, all this stuff. And, gaming's not what it was, like 10 years ago. I think that, back then the MW2s, MW3s, Black Ops, like everyone was pretty much like if you grinded, you were going to be good. But now everybody has so much upgrades and people make money doing it now. It's an uneven game,
I once played against the two-time Doc.
Yeah, you might as well at this point just play for fun because if you're going there, if you're good, you're gonna find some sweats and it's bad.
For sure. All right, round 2 for the kid.
I'm kind of on your wave of, I picked MW2. I almost want to go MW3, but I'm not going to do that. You're not going to take it. I'm going to take it. I'm going Black Ops 2.
All right. Yeah, thank you.
I just had to. Yeah, so definitely like Black Ops is my favorite Black Ops, and then Black Ops 2, and then I liked Black Ops 4.
Oh, really? That's a tough take. I like Black Ops 3. That was actually my first, I really grinded the game. And I was good at it. Like the jetpacks, I liked it. The Ripper, or I think it's Spectre, one of the two.
It's a Spectre.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah, the Black Ops 2, it took me a while to actually like the game because I went from Black Ops and MW3, and then I got Black Ops 2. And it took me a while, but then, just one day, I just stayed home from school because I was sick, and I played it all day, and I was like, this game is fun as hell.
Faux show. Okay, I'm definitely going to go MW3 here. For sure. I have to. Survival mode, the RSAS, the campaign was infected. The maps were good.
They had the best emblems and call cards out of all the Call of Duties.
Yes, also, bro, did you ever play? This was how when you play Demolition on Nuketown with your buddies, like in a private match. Private match juggernaut on MW3 is
on
Dome. MW2. Yes.
On
yes.
Dome.
That's the go-to place right there.
If I was beefing with somebody online, I used to play a lot of Search and Destroy, and back then, you had to be in game chat. So, I've always had a pretty, I was always pretty talkative. So I'd get into an argument with somebody on their team, and he's like, "Right, you know what? Let's go settle this like real men. We would go to fucking Dome, and we would just quick scope to 25. Last kill has to be a trick shot. That's when I was doing 360s. I could do like a silent shot. I don't even know how to do that anymore. But yeah, I would go to morning workouts. I would go play open gym, eat lunch, and then I'd grind Modern Warfare 3 the rest of the day. And I did that for about a whole summer. What a time to be alive.
7 summers ago. All right, last pick.
Yeah, you put me in a tough spot.
I don't even think you've played the new Modern Warfare.
I have not played the new Modern Warfare.
All right, so, you got World at War, which is where first Nazi zombies came through. You got Ghost. They got a great campaign. You said you liked Black Ops 4. Black Ops 3 had zombies in it. Cold War and Vanguard, those are your Warzone badunk-a-dunk games. Of course, there's lasers and off-the-wall trifecta Infinite Warfare, and there's crappy jetpacks with Expo XL suits or whatever in Advanced Warfare.
You know what? I'm going to go with Modern Warfare. Just normal Modern Warfare.
The very first one?
The very first one. That game I was surprisingly really good at. And I had the least fun playing it out of all the games that I was actually good at, but I was definitely the best at that one. Don't know why, but I used to always get like 15+ kill streaks, and I gotta try to do that now, and I can't do that for shit. So.
Oh yeah, I will say an honorable mention for Black Ops. I really can't go wrong, but I really want to put Ghosts in there. The campaign was glorious. Need to make a sequel. I think it would be fun. Their maps were all right, but I really liked their character customization, and the Honey Badger was legit. I thought it was a pretty fun game. Of course, I don't share that opinion with a lot of people, so that's my that's my freezing hot take of the day.
So nobody's gonna put Advanced Warfare or Infinite Warfare?
Maybe somebody in the comments will one day.
And then that's when they get booted because.
Oh yeah.
I'm not playing a game with jetpacks.
The badunk-a-dunk jabroni take. All right, so the kid, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 2, and Modern Warfare 1. And then the Rook with Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 2019, and Modern Warfare 3. We both had 2 Modern Warfares and a Black Ops.
Thanks a lot,
Captain Obvious.
Right. Those are, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right. All right, now it's time to get in. It's time we get into our Ezekiel Elliott era.
All right. For anybody who's going to start watching this, it's going to be straight Cowboys. So if you're not a Cowboys fan, I suggest you leave. You just stop watching because when you decide to watch this. But if you're a Cowboys fan, tune in because we got a lot to say.
All right, we're gonna throw these highlights on while we're.
I called that play.
About it. So we've got. He was released today, and I think we want to pay our respects. That man spent 7 years just getting an absolute snot beating out of him. Starting this year. He had multiple years just over 300 carries. And then he started dragging. And then every year it went down, but they were still impressive until like the 4th or 5th year. It started to get noticeable. Then 5th, 6th, 7th year, it was bad. He was hurt the last 2 years. They run him right up the gut every single play. They run the bad plays with Ezekiel Elliott. They use him like a retired Jamal Williams. But you cannot deny that when Ezekiel Elliott, as you can see right here, in his first 3 years, he was a top 5 running back, if not the best in the league. Complete running back. And I don't think that's speed. Biased. Look at that. And it's so sad that that's gone. But he was also a bull. He was a bully.
I would say one thing about Zeke, yeah, Dak, he took over America's team and all this. But every Sunday when the Cowboys came on, you wanted to go watch Zeke because you didn't know what he was going to pull out of his ass. Hurdle somebody, truck somebody who's a big name. He was doing all that stuff, and he brought the excitement back for those three or 4 years. And then that's why it just sucks to see like his downfall of, he doesn't have that breakaway speed anymore.
He
definitely brought the excitement back. Like this hurdle right here, like you never knew what he was going to do.
And it's only right that he had a hurdle this year against the Lions. I was just like, oh my God. Or was it against the Giants? I think it was
my favorite play because I called that play. I can pull up the receipts on Twitter. I said,
Tom
throw a screen to Zeke on the next drive, and they did, and they scored an 83-yard touchdown. That's when I was doubting.
And your proof would be was it Tom Downing, right? Or the Cowboys analyst that followed you after you said that?
Yeah, he followed me after because he respected. He was like, okay, this guy kind of knows what he's talking about.
This guy knows what he's talking about. Great take. Boom.
Yeah, follow.
But Ezekiel Elliott, thank you for your service. You're an awesome vet. You can work on your teammate skills. But
it's a foot race.
Yeah. Very proud of him. He had a great career. He should be proud of himself. Hopefully he finds a good home, somebody that takes care of his legs. Hopefully his PCL, heals up. But like I said, you can't deny this dude was a top 3, top 5 running back for more than half of his career. I would say half his career, which is tough because it's a different league now. So great running back, Cowboys legend, official Cowboys legend, Ezekiel
Elliott.
Yeah.
Sayonara.
Yeah, so that covers Zeke, and that was the big news. And I will say it does get to a point where you go to the business side of things, and you can't afford somebody like Zeke. But
can't afford most running backs nowadays. You just gotta kind of cycle them out,
Yeah, like I don't think Dallas wanted to afford him either. But
They read the room wrong about where the league was going, and
so I will say this: they had some pretty cool stats here. Ezekiel Elliott did not have a 100+ yard rushing game in 2022, but nobody had more than him from 2016 through 2021. Melvin Gordon had 14. Jordan Howard had 14. Weird. Dalvin Cook 19. Nick Chubb 22. Derrick Henry 25, with Ezekiel Elliott 5 ahead of Derrick Henry at 30 100+ yard games. So you can't deny, man. Great guy. And here's his tenure with the Cowboys. He had over 10,500 yards rushing. He had 72 total touchdowns. He had 80 yards a game, 2 times rushing title, 3-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro. In 2016, Zeke and Dak came to Dallas and rejuvenated the Cowboys franchise and fan base. They shared the Offensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year award. So congratulations to Zeke on a great career with the Cowboys. So
I wish the analyst is here to give his farewell to Zeke on this podcast.
Yeah, his wouldn't be as respectable, that's for sure, which is why I made an executive decision to say no. And then so that kind of has to do with some restructuring gimmicks that the Cowboys are working up. Some couple names to mention that have restructured and created cap space for the Cowboys. Michael Gallup's contract was restructured, which some people weren't a fan of this. Our guy Marcus Mosher wasn't, but it creates $7 million in cap space. Dak and I believe it was Zach Martin restructured their contracts to create $30 million in cap space. So that was a big one. And that's the second time Dak has taken a pay cut. Tyron Smith was just given a restructured contract with, I think, more incentives where he has an opportunity to gain more than he does on his previous contract in that second year. I'm not sure what the cap space is for that. And then recently, DeMarcus Lawrence created almost $9 million in cap space with his restructured deal. I believe this is his first or second time restructuring.
Yeah, it's like his second, I think.
Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, we've created roughly almost 50 million in cap space for this year. So, and that's including in net in NET, but we did make some signs. But how do you feel about the restructure? I think it's a good move by Dallas. I think they've done all the right things so far as restructuring, minus Michael Gallup. I don't know that there's a complexity there, but
I think the best move they made with all the restructures and all that would definitely be Tyron Smith. And Tyron Smith, we talked about it. He was going to get paid $13 million, but just having him still on the team after he played very well when he came back at right tackle, you wanted him to come back. So now his deal is that he can make about $15 million if he plays a certain amount of games and all this, which gives him like okay, now I need to really be healthy. I know he doesn't want to be hurt, but just kind of like taking care of his body more in the offseason.
Right.
And it was a big move for Dallas.
That's the incentive portion of the deal, right?
Yeah, just it balances out, and also with the Vander Esch signing.
Yeah.
5.5 a year.
Yeah.
Call it a day. Love it. Donovan Wilson, $8 million a year.
Yeah, $8 million a year for 3 years, 24 mil.
Love it.
And then the big one recently, we traded for a 5th round compensatory pick for Stephon Gilmore. So let's get it. I mean, he's a veteran. He could help. To your point, you made off record. You said they would help Darren Bland out. And I don't have the tweet pull up exactly, but he was in the 90th percentile in like 3 categories. I don't remember if it was like press, single coverage, or zone, or but he was very highly rated on the Colts. And to match him up with a guy like Trayvon Diggs and a youngster like Darren Bland, of course, Bossman Fat's in there too. But Bossman Fat, me, I'm trying to rat. I love the deal, which is why I was like less upset about the Ramsey thing. I mean, Gilmore's cheaper, I would think. So that's good. And there are some rumors though. There are talks that Bobby Wagner could possibly join the Cowboys. We had this same thing last year. He played with Dan Quinn. These rumors are great and all, but as long as we have Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones in the front desk, we can't count on anything. So far, everything has been a surprise. As well as like wide receiver names: DeAndre Hopkins, Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore, Odell Beckham Jr. That's probably the biggest one. I mean, out of those 4, who would you want the most?
I would want
Elijah Moore and OBJ.
I would want Jerry Jeudy, but it's tough because you have to give up. I mean, I'd want OBJ if we're not going to pay him 15 to 20 million. Not even worth it. But the Elijah Moore, I like Elijah Moore. But yeah, if we had a 2024 first round pick, if they want a first round pick, and that's the only way we can get him, I'll take Jerry Jeudy for that. I think he can spread out the field. He can play slide. He can play inside and outside. He can also very great route runner, very good after the catch. I think him and Dak would do very well. I just want Dak to get another weapon, though, because all his scapegoats are out of the Big D.
And good riddance.
There's no more scapegoat.
It's not fixed. It's not fixed yet. There's not, as far as I can see, there's not another weapon out there right now.
So I know. What I'm saying is, no. I'm saying is, we get him a weapon. The scapegoats are all gone.
I'm aware.
And I hope he proves me wrong. I really do, because I want a Cowboys Super Bowl. But, you can't say, oh, it was Kellen Moore. Nope. Well, Zeke's contract. Nope. Zeke's gone. He's not playing.
Still got that dead money.
There's dead money. That's dead money. It's not like it's $100 million in dead money.
It's the worst dead money in running back contract history is what it is. All right, but
is that going to be? They have enough money to go get a wide receiver now. So what I'm saying is, if they get another weapon, and what would be considered a weapon? Like, what if they did go get him a wide receiver? What would not be a good enough wide receiver to get Dak at the moment? Think about the market. Think about what's in the draft.
Slayton, somebody like that. Like, that's whatever. I need the names, bro.
So you want another number one?
No, Judy ain't a 1. He's probably a high tier 2. He can be a 1.
What is?
But
Slayton?
Elijah Moore Slayton's like a high tier 3, low tier
3.
2. Yeah.
Slayton's not that bad. 3. Health wise, yes, but he's not the. He's like on a good team. He's like a number 2.
I mean, it depends on who's out there too. But a weapon is a weapon, and we all know what a weapon is. I mean, if you're going to constitute, I mean, Gallup had an awful year last year. He's on a bum leg. There's no guarantee that he's going to be back to his normal self ever. So you can't count on him to be your number 2, and you actually never really have been. When he thrived the most, and this is your point that you made, is when Amari Cooper was there. That's when he was at his best. And what happened the following year? Torn ACL, or that year, torn ACL. The next year comes back, plays like booty. So a weapon would be somebody like Judy. A weapon would be somebody like Jalen Wyatt in the second round. Tank Dell would be like Zay, like those guys. Names. I mean, talent. But if you're gonna roll with somebody like Jalen Herbert or Noah Brown or T.Y. Hilton for your wide receiver 2 and 3, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And if you're going to roll with, especially OBJ, to answer my own question, I don't want him. We just got rid of a guy hobbling on one leg. I don't want another guy hobbling on one leg. D-Hop, is he too expensive? I don't know, but I'd take him. I'd take 2 number 1s. Why wouldn't you?
So the only thing that's missing from this Cowboys team now, you would say, is a number 2 wide receiver.
I would say so. I mean, I would patch up obviously a running back. Maybe in the later rounds, you don't need to rush to get a running back too early. Like people are saying, draft Bijan, but those are the people that have just learned their ABCs. But as far as like tight end, I like the potential that's there. I wouldn't mind drafting a guy. I don't really want to draft a first round guy, but Marcus Mosher wants us to get Foster Moreau, just get some depth in there. A lot of people are speculating that Jake Ferguson could be the next, Kelsey type caliber player. We've seen some great flashes from him. That might be a question. That might be the question mark right now. But as far as yes, I mean, I don't want Schultz back. I think he's Jason Witten 2.0. Like I'm talking 38-year-old speed Witten, Jason 2.0. We all know CeeDee Lamb can get it done. We all know Michael Gallup can produce the 3. You just need that 2. You need that second guy. Everybody that's in the Super Bowl has got him. Besides maybe Mahomes, but he's got a weapon archetype everywhere in a way. But Bengals, they make it to the NFC Championship. Almost every year. They got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Hayden Hurst, Joe Mixon. Vikings went 13 wins. They had just one guy, and they lost the playoffs.
Speaking of the Bengals just signed Orlando Brown.
Oh, really? That's a good signing. That's a good signing.
So we'll see about. I'm now intrigued. Now they talk about Joe Burrow. Even though he has all these weapons, he doesn't have a line. Now we're going to see he has another lineman. All these scapegoats are all just going away. And then that's when, and the scapegoats is just, man, I hate just hearing scapegoats for just any kind of guy. Just like, sometimes just like,
yeah, I get it, but it's all uncertainty and it's all, admittedly it's probably biased towards that player. I'm a Dak cycle. I'm going to go ahead and officially take that trademark before anyone else does, and I'll be announcing it after the podcast is over that me, the analyst, and the medical guy are officially Dak cycles, and we're taking that name to heart officially. So if you take it, I'm suing you. But yeah, I mean, like people with Daniel Jones, we know a Giants fan. We had the same. You're a realist. You had that argument on the previous podcast about the weapons, but that's a scapegoat. Now he's about to get some weapons, time to go. You're paid, time to go. Time to get it going. But yeah.
Well, it's more of like, I guess it kind of sounds like using a scapegoat, but it was more of, I just don't think he sucks.
Yeah, I'm saying? Like, a better example would be like, do you think Andy Reid leaving the Chiefs would be Mahomes' scapegoat? Or the other way around? That's an interesting one, right?
I know Andy Reid draws up these plays, but I've seen Mahomes just do some freak shit all the time. Where it's like,
I think Mahomes.
I know. Andy Reid doesn't draw up him running around circles and throwing with his left hand. I know it's not part of the play.
It's like
that's not part of the play. Yeah, it's not part of the play.
Just like I drew it up in the book.
Yeah, just like I drew it up. No, and I've always said like I've always been a realist to someone like Dak, and I've watched about every Cowboys snap for the last like 12 years. Watched every game, and it does seem like I'm very hard on Dak, but I always give him his praise when he gets praise, and I also give him his downs when he's down. And
so do I.
It's like I can look at a play and be like, okay, that is not Dak's fault, but I can look at a different play and be like, okay, that's his fault.
Yeah.
Then you got like,
which should be the same with every quarterback.
You got the Hendershot play, but then you got when he threw the pick against the Eagles, where he threw it to the lineman. You got stuff like that, and you're just looking at it play, and it's like maybe he doesn't turn over the ball, but this year he did turn over the ball. Hopefully that's not something moving forward. But, they could say the weapons, Kellen Moore. But now, Kellen Moore's gone. They get another weapon. Now it's like, if he's turning over the ball after that.
I think if Dak struggles again, who the next scapegoat will be?
Who will be? It'll be Tony Pollard.
I think it'll be Mike McCarthy, and I don't think I can get on that boat. Mike McCarthy's done a pretty damn good job as a head coach. I mean, he's done good. He's much better than Jason Garrett was. So if Dak struggles again, and they go, it's because of Mike McCarthy's new offense, I'd be like, okay, now we're stretching it. Now we're gonna stretch it because, to your point, the scapegoats, they're running thin now, and I do believe that those were problems, but I like Mike McCarthy. I don't love him, but I like to love him. Like,
I know, but it's like one of those things where it's like, everyone who's a real Cowboys fan knows that Mike McCarthy is an actual good coach.
Mm-hmm.
There's some Cowboys fans who are very skeptical on Kellen Moore. You have one side and you have the other side, and then
don't forget to slap some hammer.
Yeah, and now everyone knows I forgot that we even got him.
Right.
So yeah, once he gets that wet, and I want someone like Diggs or D-Hop for the right price. But that's a team with two number ones. Like that's like I would have to do the same. I would have to give the same criticism.
That's like two pit bulls fighting over a bowl of.
And then what do I do about Joe Burrow.
Scrapping in the
I was
woods.
like, I know Joe Burrow is a good quarterback, but he has the luxury of Jamar Chase, then he has T. Higgins, and he has a very good wide receiver 3 in Tyler Boyd.
Yeah. Yeah,
That is
and
not
he's got a number 4. He's got Hayden Hurst, and Joe Mixon's the primary target, and Samaje Perine the same guy.
That's not most. Jamar Chase
got everything.
Jamar Chase left, and that offense did not skip a beat. Tyler Boyd, what did he do? Tyler Boyd started exceeding.
Mm-hmm.
Then, because Tyler Boyd, before those guys got there, he was their number 1, and he was a good wide receiver. And then they drafted T. Higgins, and then they drafted Jamar Chase, which is smart drafting by them. But, most teams don't get the luxury of having 2 number 1s.
Yeah.
And we're able to get like a Stephon Diggs, D-Hop. Just with that, Dak really will have no scapegoat because it's like, dude, I got rid of your scapegoats, and then we gave you not only defensive help for the team, but also we got you Diggs, D-Hop. I'm not going to count OBJ because he gets hurt. I'm not going to count him. Mm-hmm. OBJ can go there and play like 5 games. Who knows? And guess what? We both want him to succeed.
Yes.
Now, there be a chance. I'm not going to say I might be high on my horse if I was proven correct, which I don't want to be proven correct, but then I would be like, I stood my ground being in these chats for a couple years. I stood my ground, never changed, never folded. I will be on my high horse for the moment.
Okay. Yeah.
But hopefully I do not have to be on my high horse. Hopefully it's like,
okay, I was wrong,
And I will admit,
it's the opposite for me. I'll be in that bottomless pit if I'm wrong. But if I crash and burn, son. So, but let's hope we're both wrong, right?
Let's just
let's hope technically you're wrong, but because that would mean success. But
yeah, and I just think, and my point would be like, the only point I would make if it did not work out is that we need to find a different route after next year. And that's the only thing moving forward. Now, if he shows that, okay, we could do this, which run it back maybe 1 or 2 more years, extend him.
What would you do if he made it to like the NFC Championship game and lost?
Well,
which doesn't all fall on him, but let's say he
it's like
NFC Championship game and he plays.
Well, it's kind of like
it's a wazzy, it's a wheezy.
Did he get there like Jalen Hurts, or did he get there like someone like Colin Kaepernick? Honestly, I'm not making a joke about that. Colin Kaepernick, when he took him to the Super Bowl, that dude played out of his mind in the playoffs.
Mm.
So is it like a Jalen Hurts kind of run, or is it like a Colin Kaepernick kind
of? In between, I would say, because you can't deny he's got a fantastic defense, and the defense got better already. It's our secondary is probably top 5, top 3 maybe. And we got a top 2 probably defensive coordinator right now, and so that's good. The offensive side is what is the question mark. We have the pieces around. We have the foundation, and we have a quarterback that can win us games and win us a first playoff game. Sometimes. So he has experience in the playoffs. So I can see us being like in between that gap where you got somebody playing efficient ball, and you got somebody who has a great defense and a great roster, and he's basically riding that to the top. Which, who gives a crap? We said it all last year, like we just want a Cowboys dub. But
I don't really.
I guess my question was different. Like it was leaning more the other way.
It's more of I don't care. I'm not judging Dak if he puts up over 30 points. All that. It's more the careless mistakes and kind of mental errors he's had throughout maybe his whole career.
Would you say that's kind of amped up just this year? Because I've never really seen it to be a problem until this year.
Let's see, Well, the thing about 2020 he had the injury,
Mhm.
and in 2021 he came back and he played exceptional those first 7 games. I said I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but I was like, he's front runner MVP. Next day, he came out and said, "Oh, Dak's the #1 MVP."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He hurt his calf, and he never came back the same. And it's not even just with like the turnovers. He just like wasn't playing good actual ball.
Yeah, it was lessened. Yeah.
And the thing is, it's like our team doesn't need to score 35 a game. A defense will, because I always say it doesn't matter how good your defense is, if you can't stay on the like. It's not even you have to score every drive, but if you're just going 3 and out, just kind of like mental errors, like your defense is going to get tired.
Yeah.
And if, with Dak, it's so hard because he's so hot and cold to put him in a spot. And like this year is more cold than not. And I hope getting a wide receiver really does elevate the whole offense to where it's just like, you got to respect us because they're going to respect the defense. Say what you want, but the offense played good in the first playoff game, but it would have never been like that if the defense was not holding down their shit right before the offense started going. And they started holding it down the second game, and the offense still was not, getting get a special teams turnover to start the third quarter and go for 3, like get 3 points. Like, what are we doing?
I think Mike McCarthy will run the offense like a pro. I think what I mean by that is professionally. I think that lighting up the scoreboard, increase 3 and outs, and decrease time of possession. And, we might have scored a lot of points, but our defense wasn't getting on a rest. And I'll touch quickly on this. I'm not countering your point, and then we can close out. But, I think that Dak's best game is when he is a game manager for the priority of the game, primarily in the game, but he has the capability to rise above in situations where he's needed to. Sort of like Romo, and Romo was more of he was a playmaker, and Dak's a playmaker too, but he's getting towards those years where he kind of has an injury bug, and it might be more beneficial for him to play more of that. Hey, let's run the ball, let's chew the clock, let's eliminate mistakes, let's be efficient, let's give the let's rest. Let's not be the #1 offense, be the #1 team. I'm on board with that. So I think Mike McCarthy will run it like a pro, and I think that'll make Dak Prescott become his old self, but also his new self in efficiency, and hopefully those weapons will elevate that. Yeah, and I can see us making a deep run. I really do. I mean, it's right there. It's the window is right there. We just patch up the defense interior, patch up the interior offensive line, maybe get a second running back and a second weapon. That's it. And really, a lot of those are not huge priorities. The running back, we got Malik Davis.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like another thing that's always kind of annoyed me about Dak in his career is that he'll start off very slow and then heat up when it's too late. Like it's like, or he'll start off very hot and then start going down, and then Peter. It's
I've seen that a couple times. Yeah, it's tough.
It's like it's like it's not. I'm not saying you have to start off hot every game, but it's more of like when you're going cold for a quarter and a half, like 3 and outs, and then then you have to play behind. That's where he starts getting a lot of his yards. He's chunking the ball. He's throwing it 30, 35 times a game, and that's just I don't see the Cowboys. If the Cowboys are gonna win, I don't think it has to be I don't think Dak needs to throw for over 5,000 yards.
Yes.
I think he should range from like.
It's kind of what I was saying.
4,200 to like 4,500. That's like Kirk.
Dude, I wouldn't care if he threw for 3,900 and had 25 touchdowns and 7 picks and like 3 rushing touchdowns. But we were like 13-4, first seed. We run the ball well. We got a great defense. That's exactly what I meant. I don't want we made the point last time, which also we forgot to mention that we had we're gonna call it TRAK validation, where you said that, or one of us said that Rodgers is going to be following Hackett. I just want to put that out there. But yeah, with the Dak thing, that's what I mean. Playing professional ball, taking care of the football, not doing too much, not being over asked to do a task, but when the time is needed, you're there. And I think Dak is purely capable of doing that.
And I the reason why a lot of people are really upset about the turnovers this year is because he missed like 5 or 6 games and he had 15 interceptions. Like that's
yeah.
Played.
It was very odd to watch too. I mean, you agree with that. You were like, okay, some of them were like, what the hell, and then some of them were like, how is that not picked? So
yeah. So when you miss 5 or 6 games and then you have all those interceptions and stuff, like that's I get your eyebrows a little raising, but we'll hope it all goes away, and hopefully I'm proven wrong, because I want to be proven wrong. I usually like to be right, but if I'm right here, it's not good for the Cowboys. It's not good at all, and I'd rather them figure out than me be right. I'll let people shit on me for being wrong in this situation, and I will just.
You'll be like, yeah, sweet,
I was
wrong.
Oh, yeah, I was wrong.
First time you're happy about being wrong about something, which is a great thing to be wrong about. I hope you're wrong.
I hope I'm wrong too. We'll see.
All right. Well, that's pretty much that's all of it. I think we covered a pretty good ground in this podcast and made it through pretty quick. But we got some things coming up. So this Sunday, and the kid, you're welcome to pop in anytime you want to. But I will be hosting a podcast episode about The Last of Us, the HBO Max series starring Pedro Pascal, on Sunday with TBD, but I've already been in contact. Should be Big T and the medical guy on there. And we're going to talk shop about the whole series, how it related to the video game, which, by the way, the video game is incredible. I watched some clips on it. It's a fantastic game. And they basically knocked it out of the ballpark for the most part. But we'll have some criticisms. We'll have some praises. So that's something to look forward to on Sunday. It might be like an hour-long episode. Who knows? We have a new guest the following week. We're trying to get Nightmare Blunt on here. Next week, we're going to probably talk some more NFL, maybe some NBA, maybe some college football. See what happens. Maybe recruit him a little bit. So that pretty much concludes it. And check our story, and we'll have a post out as well with a poll, and I'll leave it up as a highlight on our story so you can continue to vote on it. But if you guys do want us to make merch and want us to make hats, we're going to get that vote first. Then we're going to do the color debate, get 2 colors, go off those. The Rooks will be a certain color. Yours hopefully will be beige. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Kind of counter those. Be like, you want the Rook hat? This color. You want the kids hat? That color. So yeah, badass podcast. TRAK 12 will be airing on Sunday. TBD for the time. The kid, always a pleasure.
I gotta go. I am about to poop my pants. I gotta go.
All right. Appreciate you guys.